So those of you that joined us last week, I got to walk you through a little bit of CrossBraining. What I'm going to do while we're waiting is go ahead and get started. This is the teacher interface of CrossBraining, and the first thing that you would do is go to the CrossBraining login screen and click login, and we would reach out to you beforehand and get you an account created if it's something that you're interested in. And then so the first time you jump in, you can go to log in. If you are using a Gmail account, you would sign in with Google. If you're using something other than Gmail, type in your email and password up here. But we would have a conversation with you as to if you want a free trial, or if you want to get started, play around with it a little bit. Okay, so when you log in, the first thing that you see is the ability to either create a new class or to create a new lesson. I'm going to walk you through that. If you once you decide to create a lesson, you can enter the name of that lesson. This one that we're going to use throughout this webinar is a wind turbine. And so I typed in wind turbine. I typed in a summary of what I want the students to do in the wind turbine lesson. And I also added key terms from the standards that I pulled out, and I type in the key terms and then just click the plus button or click return. And this gives the students all of the terms that they'll be using in their narration when they create their own videos. I also, down here on the left, I've created different steps, and I have named each of those steps that I want the students to go capture. I want them to capture and get video of their plan. I want them to get video of them building their turbine. I want them to get video of their iteration. I want them to test and iterate their turbine, and I want them to get video of their final product. During each of these phases, there are three things that the students do. They answer questions, which you can type in right here. They get video, and they narrate. So those are the three steps: to reflect, to capture video, and to narrate. The next important decision that you have to make as the teacher, you have to make a decision. Do you want to upload the video for them and have them narrate that video or those videos? Do you want to upload some of the videos and have the students upload some of the videos? That's an option in our app. Or do you want the students to upload all of the video? And so those are the decisions you have to make as you're preparing this lesson. I encourage all new users to have the teacher upload all of the video first, so that the first experience the students have with the app or with the platform is a simple one, and it allows them to actually walk through and narrate each of those videos. So that's one of the decisions, or the decisions that you have to make when you're building out the lesson. The next thing that happens is that when you you're on the teacher dashboard and you're in the plan phase, I've already added some questions. The next thing I have to decide is, am I going to upload video, or am I going to let them get their own video? If you let them get their own video, there's nothing for you to do in this phase or in this step. As I said before, I typically upload video for them for the very first time. So what I did is I clipped the capture. And I'll go back one. I clicked capture video, and it activated the device camera. And so you'll see in this next step right here that I'm uploading video of the boy who harnessed the wind. And so I'm using my device camera. One of the things that makes us unique and different than other video editing apps is that we scrub all the background noise. So there's no sound. There's no sound at all when you're activating, or when you're uploading video. When you go to the narration phase, it's just video. It forces them to narrate. So I'm going to finish out building a lesson, then I'm going to pass this over to Julie to show how to use the GoPro, and then we'll finish up the webinar with me showing you how to assign the lesson to the class. So you'll see right here that, so I've already done the questions for the plan, I've done the video for the plan, and now if I want, I can also type out the narration and send that to the students, or you can have them narrate it on their own. Now, what I did in this step right here is there's a student view. So as you're building out this lesson for them to get this video to document their learning, you click student view and you will see that that plan, the video is uploaded. This right here would be, this would represent what the screen would look like if you uploaded some of the video and had them go get the rest of the video on their own. But you can see that they see the summary, they can scroll through that, and you can see all of the key terms. So that's what the screen looks like when you have that in place. Next, assigning to groups. So now you have this lesson, and then you're going to go ahead and assign this lesson to groups. And I'm going to go over that after Julie jumps in and shares how to use the GoPro, because some of the video that you are going to be getting, it might not be a good idea to be using your Chromebook camera or your iPad camera. You might need that point of view footage, or you might need something a little bit more durable in the hands of your students. And so this is where you would go grab the GoPro footage and upload that footage into the app.
So I'm just going to quickly brief through, the unboxing of your camera. I think most of you have a Hero 7 White, and I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions afterwards. So I'm just going to breeze through sort of the high level features of your camera, some great software tools that GoPro has to offer that you can utilize in the classroom, and we can go on to back to CrossBraining. So I'm going to dive into, these are the core features that you're going to see in pretty much almost every GoPro. Rugged and waterproof, of course. You don't need to purchase a separate casing for your camera to be waterproof. They are waterproof right out of the box, up to 10 meters. And then you have the touch screen, the voice control aspect of it. And you can find all the voice control commands on our site. Video stabilization, depending on which model you have, the stabilization will vary. You will have the portrait orientation, where you can have a vertical orientation if you want it to be more vertical phone friendly. And then of course, this option to auto upload to the cloud, and I'll talk about that later. And these are sort of the UI feature benefits you're going to get on your camera. This is for the Hero 7 White. So if you have anything newer than a Hero 7 White, or Hero 7 Silver, or Hero 7 Black, and so on and so forth, those are going to have more features as well. So you'll have 1080, 60, 10 megapixel photos, as well as the 2x slow-mo, which will be great in the classroom depending on what the kids are doing. This is a really quick sample of the user interface. It's very simple. It's supposed to mimic what you have when you interact with your phone. I think the photo timer is really, really useful, especially if you're capturing a photo and you want to be hands-off. So something that you could teach your kids or your students on how to use and be creative, so that they could have the entire group part of the shot if they need it. This is a feature that we added last year called short clips. So this is a great way to encourage your students to not record a 1 hour long video clip, which is really difficult to edit. One way is to encourage students to keep it within this short clip period, which is about 30 seconds to 15 seconds. You can actually change it, but it's usually 15 seconds. And this way, this will allow you and your students to really focus on what they're capturing, and then use it mindfully when they're editing. So they're not working with a 1 hour, 2 hour clip, and rather they're working with these 15-second or 30-second usable clips that are very mindfully shot. And I think this is something that GoPro is trying to push our users to do and to use, because so many people will go out, push record, go on a 2 hour hike, and then they don't want to go through 2 hours worth of footage, so they just kind of leave their footage and their SD cards and never go back to it. So this is a great way to keep your students really engaged and mindful about what it is they're capturing and what they plan on sharing. The 1080-60, and I'll talk more about recommended settings, but 1080-60 is probably your most go-to setting because it's the most friendly to work with. If they're editing on a tablet or on their mobile phone, 1080-60 is probably the most mobile friendly setting you're going to get. It's clear enough, it looks great, but it's also compact enough in file size that works really well with your phone and your tablet, or maybe older model PCs if they're working on a PC. When you get your camera, one of the things is a lot of people struggle opening the camera out of the box. So one tip is when you get your GoPro in the box, look at the bottom of the box and there's a pull tab where you can rip open from the bottom. Try not to pull from the top, the plastic part, the clear plastic part, because that is really difficult to do and it's something everyone does. Almost everyone at GoPro has done it. So that pull tab on the bottom of the box is the easiest way to go. And you're going to get everything here in the box, and you'll see these are 2 adhesive mounts. One is for a curved and one is for a flat surface. This is your buckle. This allows you to mount your GoPro onto different GoPro compatible mounts. Basically, you would put your camera into this frame and then use this thumb screw to attach it onto the buckle, and the buckle will then go into pretty much any GoPro compatible mount or accessory. And then the charging cable right here. Oh, and for Hero 7 White, there is no external battery. The battery is internal, so you would just charge it within the camera. If you have a different model, they will have probably an external battery, in which that case you can actually purchase a dual battery charger, which can charge multiple batteries at the same time. I'm not going to dive too much into this aspect of it, but I just want to create some awareness that if you go onto GoPro.com and you go into our support hub, the user manual and the quick start guide have everything you pretty much need to get started. It'll walk you through everything on the camera, the side doors, what they mean, and actually guide you through the mounting process if you ever need to, which is a great resource. I mean, the quick start guide is also great. I would say it's student friendly as well because it's very much image driven. The power on and off can be a little tricky sometimes because a lot of people mistake the shutter button to be the power on and off. The power on and off is actually on the side here. You would press it to turn it on, hold it down for 3 seconds to turn it off. When you want to do a quick capture, which is sort of a little pro tip, if your camera is off and you want to quickly record a video, you wouldn't need to press the power on button. You can just press the shutter button, and what happens is it turns it on, and at the same time it starts recording. And then you would just stop recording, and then the camera would actually power off. So a little quick capture pro tip there if you need to quickly capture something and maybe save battery. The camera modes, the basic GoPro will always have time-lapse, video, and photo. Most students will most likely use video. Photo, I'm not sure. Actually, burst would be a really interesting one too if the students are trying to capture a very specific moment of a quick action moment. And time-lapse is great when you want to do, so the difference between time-lapse and video, oh, okay, so sorry, my laptop got into a security mode. So time-lapse video is actually taking photos every X number of seconds, or X number of photos every second. So I like to do 30. And then what happens is it stitches it together and it outputs a video file. So they can use a video. So that's what I would recommend, because night lapse or time lapse photo is going to take a bunch of photos and you would have to then compress it together to turn it into a video. So a time lapse video would be great if the students are trying to get this long moment where they're assembling something and they want to then turn it into a video where they have everything going and that they show all their work that they've done in the past maybe hour. Pretty neat mode for, I think, students that are working on a project. Of course, there's the touchscreen gestures. I won't walk through this, but this is also available on the Quick Start Guide and the user manual on our website. And same with all the icons. I think it's great for students to know that, you know, there's the battery and then there's the SD card that allow you to, you know, monitor your camera and what all the user interactions are on the screen. Then you have your voice control. This also is available in multiple languages. So if you are working with international students or if you're working with students that are bilingual, this is also great. They can use different languages. We have, I think, over 11 languages. So the commands will be online as well. Pairing your GoPro with the app is one of the biggest key features for your GoPro. You definitely want to do this as soon as you take your camera out, you charge it, and the next thing you want to do is install the GoPro app on your phone and actually connect the device. I know some schools have restrictions with like privacy, but if you have a tablet or school phone that is used for only in school purposes, then this would be the way to go. Definitely connect it to the app because it makes offloading and sharing so much easier. And also, if you know, if they're working with CrossBraining, it would be great to have that offload process be as smooth as possible for students. And then some capture to share would be more our perspective. So this is just the creative aspect of using the GoPro. You know, we have multiple mounts and accessories, but in terms of the type of shots that students can get, there's handheld, there's a body mounted for this sort of typical GoPro POV, sorry. There's gear mounted. Definitely check our website if you want to see some of the mounts and accessories. I think a really interesting one for the in classroom would be the JAWS Flex clamp, because you could actually clamp it onto different areas and then get really interesting angles, which is really neat. And then I talked about short clips. There's a slow-mo aspect of it too. Photo timer, if they need to take a photo and everyone needs to be in the shot. There's also exposure control here on the right. If it's a little darker in the class, what you do is you hold down the touch screen before you start shooting or capturing. And then what happens is you would either adjust based off the darker or the brighter side of your screen. So then you can adjust the exposure depending on the classroom. So if it is darker, you could actually brighten it and shoot that way. There is super photo. I'm going to breeze through this section. Burst, I think if you do use burst, 30 to 3 or 30 per 6 is probably your go-to settings here. That would be 30 photos in 3 seconds or 30 photos in 6 seconds. And then you have time lapse. I think the way to go here is probably a 0.5 second, half second, or 1 2 second for depending on the action. But I think in terms of most use cases, you're pretty good with the half second. If it's darker in the classroom, probably go for 1 to 2 seconds. And then I don't know how many of you are using night photo, night lapse, but we do have settings here. This is also in the user manual, so I'll let you guys explore that depending on the use cases. Generally, we want to go higher frame rates for brighter fast action shots, but 1080-60, like I mentioned before, is probably going to be your most safest bet. If you want to start experimenting with higher frame rates or lower frame rates, I would say in low light settings, you want to bump it down to 30, but 60 is going to be just as great for most cases. This is just a shout out that you can submit your content, and you can go to gopro.com/awards and submit. And there's one last part that I want to cover. 1 second here. If you go to our website, we have something called GoPro Plus. You can subscribe and you'll get unlimited cloud storage. We have a break it, will replace it policy and 50% off mounts and accessories for GoPro. And for the year, it's only $417 per month. If you want to pay monthly, it's $499, but you can also try it for free for 30 days. So I would definitely check that out. I think there's a lot of benefits here. especially this unlimited cloud storage, so you don't have to worry about losing content or storing content into an external hard drive, or having students worry about bringing their own storage. And especially this one. I mean, I'm pretty sure our cameras are definitely very, very, very durable, but if there ever is a case that something happens, this is a great insurance policy that you can add to your camera just in case. And I believe that's it.
Thank you so much, Julie, for joining us and sharing all that information. I think it was a perfect way for us to actually show what's going on, because we are at the steps of uploading video. And I've said it, I've been in the STEM classroom, PBL classroom for over 20 years. And my relationship with GoPro was started simply because I needed one in the classroom to capture things that a phone or a tablet or a Chromebook just couldn't capture. So the Iowa teachers all have them, or they'll be getting them soon with their packets. And if you have, for any of the Iowa teachers that are on right now, or any teachers that are on right now, feel free to reach out to us, and we can also help you get that footage into the app. So thank you, Julie. And are there any questions for Julie? If not, I will continue on. And thanks again, Julie, for joining us today.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and continue with assigning to groups. So I'm going to jump back that one slide. This is where they get the video. If they were actually, I'm going to jump back one more, or a couple more, sorry. Right here on the student side and on the teacher side, when they click capture, this is where you would upload the video. If you're getting your GoPro footage, you would click upload a video. You would connect, first of all, you connect the GoPro to your Chromebook or to your device with a USB. And then you would go ahead and click upload a video, and you would see the GoPro icon in your device settings, so that you would then click on to that. And we have videos that we can send you links to on how to connect a GoPro to your device. And then once you do that, you can just upload the video from the GoPro right into the app. Now that we have this footage, the next thing to do is, our app is a system or a platform that also manages this whole entire process. Because what we're trying to do, or what we're trying to offer educators, is this platform that gives you this new way of assessing, formatively assessing, do your kids understand what the concepts are when you're doing a project, or when you're doing a maker activity. What are the things that you want them to really understand and know? And then now we're giving you a tool to where they go capture it, narrate, and answer reflection questions, turning that whole process into a 45-second or less video. But you can't fake this. This is, they have to show what they know. And so you get into this part, and what we have here is groups. So I created my lesson up here. The next step is to create groups. The students join with a join code, and then they're all put on the left. And then you go ahead, you can either create random groups. You select how many kids you want in each group. If you want them all in groups of one, you would select one. If you want them in groups of three, you would select three, create random groups. Or you can create groups and add the students into that group. So that will look like this slide right here. So you can see how it says students per group. I put 3, then I put create random groups, and you can see that they were put, these were put into groups of 4. This is a good slide to show this, because there were 2 remainders, and we said they have to have at least 3 in a group. So they just added the extras into group 1 and group 2. If you want to move kids from the group, you just click this arrow and it says move student to another group, and it allows you to move them around. The next part is the jobs. Jobs are capture, narrate, and reflect. These are jobs that cannot be stolen. These are jobs that are gatekeeper jobs. And what I mean by that is that I want all of my students to be collaborating and making decisions as a group. But in the end, this student 200, it's their responsibility to make sure that the video is fantastic. Now, student 202 can go get the video and upload it, but student 200 is the gatekeeper and decides whether or not that's the video that best explains their competency. Same thing with narration. In my class, I don't care who does the narration, but student 202 or 202, they are the gatekeeper. They decide if the fluency is fantastic. And then student 206 makes sure that the answers in the reflection questions are at a very high level. So you can assign jobs to your students that cannot be taken away. The next one says status. So the status button, one of my favorite features, lets the teacher and the students know where all of the other groups are in their journey of finishing that maker project or that STEM project or whatever assignment it is. They'll be able to see what jobs have been done. And so in this example, all of the groups have all of the reflection questions done except for the turn on gas phase right here. So they've got all of the questions done, but they haven't captured or narrated anything yet. Next, on the student side, when you create a classroom on their side, they'll see that they have the Science Center of Iowa class and this Bosch STEM cohort class, and they have 2 assignments in there. When they click the assignment, they see the summary that you typed out. They see the key terms. And in this right here, they see the three phases that I sent them. I sent them a video of William, a video of farming in this video about William and the boy who harnessed the wind. And I also sent them video of when he was in the library learning how to make his wind turbine. So in this example, what I did is I showed them a short 5-minute video about the boy who harnessed the wind. Then I uploaded certain pieces of that video and I had them explain to me what was going on in that part of the video. And so now they're creating roughly a 45-second video explaining the video that they just watched. So you'll see that each of those have the capture check mark. Now I can also go in and see the jobs that belong to our group. I can look at other groups and see how far along they are. We know that all classrooms have those competitive kids, and we use that to our advantage so that we can, so other kids can see where their status is as far as their group, and are they getting enough done like some of the other groups are. And so I can see that in the assignment status, and then I can see what groups they're in. Next, you'll see right here, whoops, I clicked on assignment status, and I can see that group 1 is really cruising along. Group 2 and group 3 have their video, but they haven't started narrating and answering the reflection questions. So every group has the ability to see where the other groups are. And then as they upload video and narrate and reflect, again, the teacher side can see and the student side can see where everybody is in their progress. So it's a great way to manage the classroom and know who to go help, and it allows the teacher to become a facilitator. And then when they click answering the reflection questions right here, this question comes up: what was the problem that William was trying to solve? The students type in their answer to that reflection question. And then here we are at the community.crossbraining.com. I went over that briefly with you in one of the last webinars. We hold webinars, and if you're interested in learning more about the community, it's community.crossbraining.com. This is a place where we put in our lessons that came out of the platform with teachers that we work with. It also is a place where you can create your own groups. Right here, you can create your own groups, and they can be private or public, and it allows you to basically share lessons with each other that you're doing. I'm going to go into this lesson right here, or into the lessons, and let's say you had some spheros and you wanted to learn about The Sphero Chariot Race, you can play the video.
Studying a chariot design.
So you can play the student video. If it's something that you're like, wow, that's pretty cool, you can go into it, see the details, the lesson overview, the summaries. I can see what was going on during each phase. And then I can watch the entire 42-second video that the student made of the Sphero Chariot Race. And then if I want that in my app or in my lessons, I can share it to my lessons, edit it, and then send the assignment out to the students to capture this assignment. So that's one of the other things that we have. We also have some videos. I'm going to play just a little bit of this one. I will walk you through how to create assignments and how to create
There are two ways to assign a lesson to a classroom.
classrooms.
One way is from the lesson detail page. You can navigate to a lesson, click assign.
And so that video, if you're interested in having that, and we'll have a link to this slide deck, you feel free to watch that video. It's also on our YouTube channel, and it just walks you through how to create an assignment. And then the next video is how to assign that to a class.
Creating a lesson in the CrossBraining app is easy. Start by clicking the Create New Lesson button from your dashboard. Then simply type in the lesson title and click Save.
So both videos, one shows how to create a class, one shows how to create a lesson and assign that lesson. And they're two very small, short videos. And that concludes today's webinar. If you have any questions right now, please feel free to ask and we will do our best to answer them.